Before we start auditing general management system requirements, I would like to discuss on auditing risk treatment, which usually as an auditor, you should ensure that information security risk treatment options that have been selected are appropriate and relevant to the identified risks. All controls which are deemed necessary to treat the information security risks should be applied. They can either be selected from an Excel list of controls. Organizations may choose or design their own controls. No necessary control is committed, which is stated in ISO 27000, which is stated in ISO 27001 2022 Annex A. Uh, uh, the statement of applicability is generated including a justification for inclusion and exclusion. A risk treatment plan is available. The risk owner's approval has been taken on the risk treatment plan after risk treatment. If there is any residual risk, then it should be accepted and approved by the risk owner. So we start with our session 3 of auditing general management system requirements. Uh, During this session, the topics we will cover in discussion is introduction, the high level and the structure of ISO 27001 standard, the scope of ISO 27001 standard, auditing, organizational context, leadership roles, ISMS policy and objectives, competence, awareness, and communication, document the information, performance measurement and internal audits, management review, corrective and preventive actions. From this, we are focusing or having learning objectives, understand the high level structure of ISO 27001 based on Annex A, know the scope and application of 27001 2022, review organizational context, perform audits, and find evidence for top management leadership roles and activities, competence training and awareness, documented information related to ISMS, performance monitoring and measurement activities, internal audits, management reviews, corrective and preventive action. So here I would like to show you this ISO 27001 standard itself, how it looks like, and where we are standing, and what we have discussed and studied so far. We will be discussing scope. We have discussed normative references yesterday, terms and definitions. We will be discussing context of the organization. We will be discussing leadership. We have discussed in detail the clause 6, which is planning, 6.1.1 general information security risk assessment, information security risk treatment, information security objectives and planning to achieve them. Then we will be discussing in this session support, the clause 7 of ISO 27001 2022 standard resources, competence, awareness, communication, documented information covering journal, creating and updating control of documented information. We will be discussing performance evaluation since we have discussed the clause 8, operational planning and control, information security risk assessment, and again, information security risk treatment. Yesterday and today, earlier in the discussion, so we will be discussing performance evaluation, monitoring, measurement, analysis, and evaluation, internal audit, general internal audit program, management review, general management review, inputs, management review results. Then later on, we will be discussing improvements, continual improvement, non-conformity, and corrective action. We have discussed earlier Annex A, information security controls references, which is are used usually used to establish statement of applicability. So before moving forward, I would like to share the copy of your standards in this chat box so that you can refer or use your copies of standards, and you should not left behind during the discussion. Let me share the copy of the standard with you. Just hold on. Guys, please confirm that you have received a copy of your ISO 27001 standard and you have downloaded it so that we should move forward with the rest of the session and we cover it up. मुझे कंफर्म कीजिए कि आपको चैट बॉक्स में
We have received.
मिल
जी
गया है.
सर,
ओके
received.
ओके दैट्स ग्रेट. Okay, that's great. That's great. So let's move forward with the standard itself. Um, um, After publishing ISO 27 ISO directives Annexure A, all management system standards became similar in structure, and that allows easy implementation of management systems for organizations. Organizations that have an integrated management system can easily implement ISO standards and avoid application of common requirements. This session will focus on all the common requirements of ISO 27001 standards, such as establishing the context, leadership, performance measurement, competence and training, and continual improvement. It will highlight the tools and techniques for auditors to perform an audit against the core requirements of the clauses mentioned earlier. High-level structure of ISO 27001 2022 comprised of 8 clauses mainly. And the new high-level structure based on Annex A for 27001 2022 is outlined as scope, normative references, terms and definitions, context of the organization, which has 4 subclauses under it: understanding the organization and its context, understanding the needs and expectations of the interested parties, determining the scope of the quality management system, information security management system. Then we have leadership with 3 subclauses: leadership and commitment, policy, organizational roles, responsibilities, and authorities. And we have planning at clause 6, sections to address risks and opportunities with the risk assessment and treatment and information security objectives and planning to achieve them. Support, we have clause 7 with resources, competence, awareness, communication, and documented information. And we have operations, operational planning and control, information security risk assessment, information security risk treatment, performance evaluation, monitoring, measurement, analysis, and evaluation, internal audit management system review, and improvement, continual improvement, non-conformity and corrective actions, and then NXA. So the scope of this standard is to establish, implement, maintain, and continually improve information security management system with respect to the context of the organization. And in accordance with the requirement of this standard, the organization must also consider the risks that can arise from internal external factors during the establishment and implementation of ISMS. The requirements stated in ISO 27001 are generic and applicable to all organizations, regardless of type, size, and product or service provided. For example, ISMS can be applied at, in IT firms, hospitals, commercial organizations, government agencies, non-profit organizations, and so on. Such flexibility is because ISO 27001 only outlines the requirements for implementing information security controls, not how to apply and implement these requirements. Excluding any requirements from clause 4 to 10 is not allowed or prohibited. Exclusions can only be made against ISO 27001 and XA controls. All exclusions should be justified and detailed in organization statement of applicability, as we discussed in detail while creating or discussing statement of applicability or SOA earlier, basing on NXA. Any exclusions made must not affect the ability or responsibility to provide information security that meets security requirements as determined by risk assessment and regulatory requirements. Um, uh, Evaluation of the organization. Um, Excuse me. Um, Evaluating the organization under the scope. Number one, we have type of the organization refers to the nature of the organization, such as whether it is a public or a private entity, government body, or a non-profit organization, small business, or multinational corporation. Understanding the organization type ensures that the ISO 27001 implementation is tailored to its specific regulatory and operational requirements. Uh, Purpose of the organization, the core mission, vision, and objectives that defined by the organization exists and what it aims to achieve help with the aligns the ISMS information security management system with the organization strategic goal ensuring that information security supports business objective effectively. And the size of the business refers to the scale of the organization measured by factors like number of employees, revenue, or market reach determines the complexity and scalability of ISMS. A small business may require a leaner system, while a large organization may need more robust controls. And that is what exactly refers to that whenever a company reaches to us, organization reach us with the query that they require to have ISMS implement, or if they require us to perform an audit, if to check the maturity level or perform second party or third party or to get certified, excuse me. And then usually we start with the sizing document, sharing a sizing document to understand the context of the organization. And to understand the context of the organization, understanding the size of the organization is very important because if any, say, a bank is in question or require to have ISMS implemented, and they might be having like more than 200 branches in, or if you consider that there is only one office where you have to conduct this exercise, therefore it is going to be entirely different because if the bank or the client understanding is that they require to have it implemented among all over their branches, then you might mismatch the effort, or the costing established will not meet even compare your budget of implementing the ISMS in one branch and instead 200 branches. It is entirely different story, altogether. So establishing the context and getting to know the size of the business, where exactly that implementation required or the audit is required to be conducted, then accordingly you have to establish the efforts involved, the people you need to conduct that exercise. Determine the complexity and scalability of the SMS. A small business may require leaner system, as I said earlier. So, business resources, the assets both tangible, for example, IT systems, financial resources, and intangible intellectual property, skilled workforce utilized by the organization. Identifying resources ensures the critical assets are adequately protected and included in the ISMS scope. Business model. the framework through which the organization delivers value, including its revenue streams, processes, and customer engagement strategies, helps identify information flows and dependencies that need to be secured, ensuring the ISMS supports the organization's operational framework. Business boundaries, the physical, geographical, operational, and technical logical scope within which the organization operates. The importance of it is to define the scope of the SMS, ensuring that all relevant systems, locations, and processes are included for comprehensive information security. As I've explained earlier, if they have 200 branches where required to be implemented or subject of conducting an audit. Business opportunities, potential avenues for growth, innovation, or expansion that organization may pursue, helps the ISMS prepare for and support new initiatives, ensuring that information security does not hinder but enables the uh, enables the opportunities, business operations, uh, uh, day-to-day activities, processes, and workflows that the organization undertakes to deliver products or services. Uh, ensures that the ISMS integrates seamlessly with operations, minimizing disruption and aligning security practices with operational efficiency. Um, Business issues, there are mainly two types where we put these business issues. Internal issues and external issues, challenges, risks, or external and internal factors that may impact the organization's ability to achieve its objectives. Identifying and addressing these issues ensures that the ISMS is designed to mitigate risks effectively and adapt to changing circumstances. जब तक आप issues को identify नहीं करेंगे, तो it may not be possible for you to implement or properly, conduct, audit basing on ISMS or ISO 27001. So, in the context of 27001, ISO 27001 refer to internal and external factors that could affect the organization's ability to achieve its information security objectives. These issues can influence the design, implementation, and effectiveness of the information security management system. ISO 27001 requires organizations to identify and address these issues during the initial stage of ISMS implementation to ensure the system is resilient and aligned with the organization environment. Internal issues are factors within the organization that could impact the ISMS. These include the organization's internal processes, people, culture, and infrastructure. For example, organizational culture, the level of security awareness and engagement among employees, resistance to change, or poor adoption of new security practices, governance leadership, the effectiveness of management system, management support for information security, uh, clear roles and responsibilities for security related tasks, as we discussed while conducting exercise on RASCA table, that if it is not prepared properly, obviously the roles are not defined, responsibilities are not defined properly. Existing policies and procedures, the strengths and weaknesses of current information security policies and frameworks, the gaps in documentation or inconsistent enforcement of security protocols. Excuse me, guys. Technology and infrastructure, the robustness and the scalability of IT systems, the use of legacy systems that may introduce vulnerabilities, internal networks, software and data storages solutions, employee skills and competencies, availability of skilled personnel to manage and monitor the ISMS training needs for employees on information security practices. Internal communication channels, effectiveness of internal communication to disseminate security policies and respond to incidents, resource allocations, availability of financial, technical, and human resources for ISMS implementation and maintenance. External issues are factors outside the organization that could impact in its ISMS. These include regulatory, technological, market, and environmental aspects that influence how the organization operates. For example, regulatory and legal requirements like compliance with laws, regulations, and industry standards. For example, PTA, SPP, SECP, PDPL, PDPB, PCI DSS for payment card industry regulation. Changes in a regulatory landscape that may introduce new requirements. As we discussed earlier, that PTB, Personal Data Protection Bill, is going to be implemented very soon. So obviously, it's new requirement which is coming ahead. The people, the organizations who have already implemented ISMS within their organizations, they have to realign these new developments requirements within their systems so that they should be adhering to the regulatory requirements coming up ahead or implement with the country, either it's PTB, PB, or any other regulatory requirement coming up ahead. Industry and market trends, increasing demands for secure data handling from customers and partners, competitive pressures that requires stronger security measures to maintain market position, a threat landscape, evolving cyber threats such as phishing, ransomware, and advanced persistent threats, APTs, risks posed by external attackers, including nation states, competitors, or activists, third party and supplier risks, dependency on vendor suppliers or partners for IT services, data storage, or other critical functions, risk associated with outsourced services or cloud computing providers, economic environment, financial challenges that may limit the organization's ability to invest in information security, economic downturns leading to cost cutting measures that could weaken security, social and cultural factors are as well count in external issues. Where public perception of the organization's security practices, stakeholders' expectations for data privacy and transparency, technological advancements, rapid changes in technology introducing new vulnerabilities or opportunities for improvement, adoption of emerging technologies like AI, IoT, or blockchain, and their associated risks. Natural disasters and environmental factors cannot be, left aside because they are important risks posed by natural disasters, for example, floods, earthquakes. You guys have experienced yesterday. I've heard that in news, earthquake of 4 point something, which was not that severe, alhamdulillah, and no losses occurred. As per the news I've received, impacting physical data centers to or IT infrastructure, climate changes related risks to operations and business continuity. Why identifying business issues is critical for ISO 27001 implementation. It helps context in establishment of context. Understanding internal external issues is a key part of establishing the context of the organization as required by the ISO 27001 clause 4.1. You can refer to the standard copies you have been provided with. Risk assessment is also important for this. identifying business issues helps in recognizing potential threats and vulnerabilities during the risk assessment process, ensuring comprehensive risk mitigation. ISMS scope definition helps define the ISMS scope, ensuring it addresses all relevant areas and factors impacting information security. Tailored controls aligns information security controls, NXA, with specific challenges and opportunities of the organization. Adaptability and resilience. By addressing internal and external issues, the organization can ensure that the SMS is flexible enough to adapt to changing circumstances, ensuring long-term resilience, uh, improved stakeholder confidence, and proactively addressing the external issues like compliance and threats, builds trust with customers, regulators, and partners. Alignment with business objectives by considering internal issues like resource availability and leadership support the ISMS align with organizational goals without disrupting operations. Interested parties are individuals or entities that can be affected by or perceive themselves to be affected by the organization's information security management system, ISMS. ISO 27001 emphasizes the need to identify and understand these requirements to ensure that the ISMS aligns with stakeholder expectations and contributes to overall business success. Definition for this is to expectations, needs, and demands of stakeholders include customers, regulators, employees, and partners regarding information security. Uh, just so, understanding these requirements ensures compliance and enhances trust by addressing stakeholders' concerns within the ISMS framework. Um, Key interested parties and their requirements based on owners, stakeholders, shareholders, investors of the business. Requirements may be assurance of information security to protect the organization's assets and intellectual property, compliance with the legal and regulatory requirements to mitigate risks, implementation of cost-effective security measures, impact a robust ISMS increases the organization's value and reduces financial liabilities. Bankers, they may be requiring protection of financial data and transactional records, assurance of the organization's financial stability and operational resilience, evidence of compliance with the industry regulation. For example, PCI DSS for payment systems. Impact could be a small, a well implemented ISMS enhances confidence in providing loans or financial support. Customers, they may be requiring protection of their personal data and privacy, assurance of secure business transactions and service continuity, transparency regarding data handling and security practices. Impact could be meeting customer requirements, fosters trust, loyalty, and long-term relationships. Competitors may be requiring ethical conduct in handling comparative intelligence, prevention of industrial espionage, and unauthorized access to proprietary data. Um, Impact could be a secure ISMS can prevent unfair practices and maintain the organization's market reputation. Suppliers may be requiring protection of shared data and intellectual property, clear communication, and compliance with the security requirements, contract assurance of business continuity to prevent supply chain disruptions. Impact can be could be strengthened partnerships and smoother operations in the supply chain. Leaders, senior management, their requirements may be effective risk management to safeguard organizational assets, alignments of ISMS objectives with business strategies, ongoing monitoring and improvement of information security practices. Impact could be leadership commitment ensures ISMS success and boosts organizational resilience. Organizations internal stakeholders, you can say, requirements can be protection of sensitive organizational data, for example, HR, financial, operational information, training and awareness programs to minimize human error, clear policies and procedures for secure operations. Impact would be an engaged and informed workforce, reduces risks and ensures ISMS compliance. Society requirements may be or could be ethical and responsible handling of data, compliance with legal and environmental standards, prevention of cybercrime, and its societal impact. Impact could be demonstrating social responsibility, enhances the organization's reputation. Community requirements may be assurance that the organization's operations do not compromise local security or privacy, contribution to community well-being through skill and ethical practices. Impact could be a secure organization builds trust and goodwill within the community. Um, Interested parties' needs versus expectations are very important for all of us to understand because there is a bit of different of needs versus expectations. So interested party needs specific mandatory requirements that must be fulfilled to maintain the trust and compliance with legal, regulatory, and contractual obligation. For example, customers need their personal data to be protected from breaches. Regulators needs the organization to comply with the specific data protection laws like personal data protection bill or for other regulatory requirements. For example, HIPAA for Health Insurance Portability Accountability Act in United States, which is not implemented in Pakistan yet, but still, I'm just giving an example how it works. Suppliers need secure channels to exchange information. Impact could be meeting needs, ensures compliance, and reduce risks of penalties, legal actions, or business disruptions. Interested parties' expectations, non-mandatory but desired requirements or aspirations that contribute to customer satisfaction, reputation, and competitive advantage. और मिसाल के तौर पे हमसे जो चीज़ें एक्सपेक्ट की जा रही होती हैं उनमें और जो चीज़ें हमें करनी हैं जो नीड्स हैं उनमें यही फ़र्क है कि नीड्स जो सी हैं वो ड्राइव्स होती हैं रिक्वायरमेंट्स से रिक्वायरमेंट्स मैंडेटरी रिक्वायरमेंट्स जैसे आगे हमने डिस्कस किया ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस को और रिलेटेड चीज़ों को उसी तरह एक्सपेक्टेशंस होती हैं हम करना चाह रहे होते हैं बट दे आर नॉट मैंडेटरी मिसाल के तौर पर हम ये करना चाह रहे हैं कि यार हम सर्टिफाइड लीड ऑर्डर ऑडिटर का एग्जाम पास कर लें बट चूंकि इसके अंदर थ्योरी बहुत ज्यादा है तो हम अपना इंटरेस्ट लूज कर जाते हैं व्हाइल लिसनिंग टू द व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू एक्सप्लेन टू यू ऑल गाइस कि आईएसएमएस है क्या आईएसओ 27001 है क्या अब आपका इस पे हैंड्स ऑन एक्सपीरियंस होगा तो मतलब जैसे मैं और वकास कल डिस्कस कर रहे थे इस चीज के ऊपर एंड ही वाज शेयरिंग हिज एक्सपीरियंस एज वेल दैट it's very it gets very interesting when you start working on it practically in an organization that you are trying to guide them how they should perform in reality और आप उनको एडवाइस कर रहे होते हैं how they should protect their systems अभी इंफॉर्मेशन सिक्योरिटी मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम ये स्टैंडर्ड ऐसा है इसमें सारी इंफॉर्मेशन सिक्योरिटी की ही बात है कि इंफॉर्मेशन जो है उसकी सिक्योरिटी आपने कैसे स्टैब्लिश करनी है मैनेज करनी है तो जब आप इंफॉर्मेशन जो है उसको सिक्योर करने की बात कर रहे हैं उसके उससे रिलेटेड जो प्रोसीजर्स हैं प्रैक्टिसेस हैं जो स्टैंडर्ड की रिक्वायरमेंट्स हैं वो आप सुनेंगे समझेंगे तो आप उसको प्रैक्टिकली अप्लाई कर सकेंगे तो ये बहुत ज़रूरी है कि आप आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड दैट दिस इज अ ड्राई रन तो ये वो मतलब इन सिंपल टर्म्स यू गेट हम बोर हो जाते हैं सुन सुन के ना चीज़ों को मैं कोशिश कर रहा हूँ कि जो मैं आपको बताने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ वो आपको मैं दिखा भी सकूँ स्क्रीन के ऊपर, ताकि आप रेफरेंस एस्टेब्लिश कर सकें। वीडियोग्राफिकल मेमोरीज आर द स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट वंस। तो आप जो टर्म्स अपनी स्क्रीन पे देख रहे हैं, for say like we are talking about interested parties requirements right now. So if we are talking about interested parties, who they are, what their requirements are, what their expectations are, उसके फिर मैं आपको एग्जांपल्स के साथ समझाने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ कि कैसे मतलब हम एक्सपेक्टेशन को डिफाइन कर सकते हैं, कैसे हम रिक्वायरमेंट को डिफाइन कर सकते हैं। देयर आर a lot, a number of interested parties are involved in every business. तो हमें बिजनेस कॉन्टेक्स्ट को स्टैब्लिश करने के लिए बिजनेस के साइज को, उसके मीडियम ऑफ एक्टिविटी को, उसका उसका मतलब उसका इंटरेस्टेड पार्टीज, उसके इंटरनल इश्यूज, उसके एक्सटर्नल इश्यूज, ये समझना बहुत जरूरी है। अगर हम कॉन्टेक्स्ट बिजनेस का एस्टेब्लिश नहीं करेंगे, हम उसको समझेंगे नहीं, we simply cannot fulfill the requirements of ISMS. So if you want to become a certified lead auditor or ISMS auditor या implementer, you need to understand these points. ये बहुत जरूरी है। और अगर आप इन चीज़ों को नहीं समझेंगे, आप कॉन्टेक्स्ट एस्टैब्लिश नहीं कर पाएंगे विद द स्टैंडर्ड, और यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू टेक पार्ट इन द एग्जाम itself as well. So it's all theory, and I'm trying to explain you this theory so that you should understand and grasp the knowledge needed to become a certified lead auditor. So it is very important for you to please stay put and stay focused on it. I'm just giving you a reminder again. Please do not engage in yourselves in any other activities while attending these sessions. I need you to pay attention. आगे लास्ट डे पे आपका एग्जाम है. You need to qualify that exam to get a certificate. uh, then later on you will be able to participate in the exam. So let me continue uh, with example of expectations, like customers expect quick response to security incidents and transparency. Employees expect tools and trainings for secure work practices, and that is exactly what we are doing right now. We are giving you training, so please get benefit from it. Um, and this is quite expensive training you guys are getting right now, so get benefit from it. Shareholders expect proactive measures against emerging threats. Impact exceeding operations enhances trust, loyalty, and brand value. uh, I can give you further details on this, that if we just give further examples, a better understanding the difference between needs and expectations. Aspect you can say nature, needs mandatory and compliance, driven, expectations optional but desired or aspirational. Okay, so focus, we can say focused on avoiding risks and meeting legal requirements. If we talk about needs, and if we talk about expectations, focused on achieving satisfaction and add value, or achieve added value. Examples: PDA compliance, protection against breaches. This is a need. And rapid incident response, seamless user experience is expectation. Impact of non-compliance, legal or financial penalties, loss of business falls under needs, and reduced trust or reputation, but no legal impact is will fall under expectations again. Why addressing both in critical in ISO 27001? Needs must be addressed to ensure compliance, reduce risks, and meet contractual obligations. Expectations, while not mandatory, help build trust, foster innovation, and enhance competitive advantage. Together, addressing both ensures a holistic ISMS that balances compliance with stakeholder satisfaction. Business management, the leadership, decision making processes, and governance structure within the organization. Strong management commitment is critical for the successful implementation, maintenance, and continual improvement of the SMS. It ensures resources allocation, policy enforcement, and alignment with organizational priorities. By understanding and addressing these elements, the organization can implement ISO 27001 in a way that not only meet compliance requirements but also aligns with its unique context. ensuring effective information security management and business continuity. अम, इसमें मैं आपको एक और थोड़ी सी एग्जांपल देना चाहता हूँ सऊदी गवर्नमेंट को लेके और हायर मैनेजमेंट कमिटमेंट व्हाई इट इज इम्पोर्टेंट how it does wonders, you know. Saudi government, when it comes to cybersecurity, every year they are conducting number of events or conferences, and they turn their pockets inside out when it comes to cybersecurity, just to showcase the world how serious they are, you know, when it comes to cybersecurity. मिसाल के तौर पे एक जीसीए फोरम होता है वहाँ पे सऊदी में हर साल वहाँ पे इट्स इनवाइट ओनली है और इवेंट और इट्स प्रेस्टिजियस इवेंट वहाँ पे मतलब आईएमएफ के जो लीडरशिप है वहाँ से लोग आए होते हैं एक्स प्राइम मिनिस्टर्स आए होते हैं यूरोपियन यूनियन के चांसलर्स आए होते हैं एक्स प्रेसिडेंट्स ऑफ द कंट्रीज प्राइम मिनिस्टर्स आए होते हैं मतलब दे इनवाइट देम ऑल ना और जो बड़े न्यूज़ चैनल्स हैं उनके जो होस्ट हैं डिफरेंट शोज के ब्लूमबर्ग से सीएनएन से सीएनबीसी से मतलब ग्लोबली ग्लोबली अल जजीरा से वो लोगों को इनवाइट करते हैं जस्ट टू कम एंड हैव पार्टिसिपेट इन पैनल डिस्कशंस उन डिस्कशंस के अंदर दे सेलेक्ट डिफरेंट टॉपिक्स और उन टॉपिक्स के ऊपर वो बात करते हैं and they are all related to cyber security or मतलब how they can improve AI और दुनिया का किस तरफ जा रही है what are the challenges what they can do what they have done over the past year अभी आप देख सकते हैं जैसे सऊदीया का जो 2030 का इनिशिएटिव है डिजिटाइजेशन है ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन ऑफ बिजनेसेस है ब्रिंगिंग ऑल हेडक्वार्टर्स टू सऊदी है मतलब रियाद में लेकर आ रहे हैं बड़ी कंपनियों के जो हेडक्वार्टर्स हैं मतलब दे आर डूइंग अ लॉट और जितने बिजनेसेस हैं they have to follow the stringent requirements of regulatory bodies already exist in Saudi, like SAMA, Sadaya for PDPL and AI regulatory requirements. And then Capital Market Authority for capital markets, then National Cybersecurity Authority for critical information being utilized or passed or at rest or in transit all over the industries or within the ministries or government bodies or private bodies which can disrupt any procedures or processes at national level that fall in the National Cybersecurity Authority, which is the primary regulator of National Cybersecurity Authority in Saudi. They have their own different frameworks which organizations must have to follow. और मतलब they are doing a lot when it comes to cybersecurity. This all fall under the leadership commitment. So when a leadership commitment is there, it can do wonders. So this is why I'm explaining this to you guys that a leadership is commitment is important. Without having the leadership commitment, you cannot simply uh, uh, implement or take necessary actions to implement any policies or frameworks within the organizations. So the context of an organization includes the situation, circumstances, or issues that can arise either from internal or external factors relating to the type and nature of organization's business. As an auditor, you must ensure that the organization has identified both internal and external issues, needs and expectations of interested parties, legal and contractual obligations, and the clear scope and boundaries of ISMS. An important aspect to consider here is that the established scope and boundaries of ISMS should be documented. Leadership is directing the organizations to leadership is directing the organization to achieve its vision and goal in order to ensure that the top management is committed towards the establishment and implementation of information security management system and proper leadership roles have been established. An auditor can verify if following actions are taken by top management, provide evidence of its commitment to ISMS by establishing an information security policy. Top management should be transparent, clear, and open to share the vision related to information security within the organization, establishment of appropriate information security objectives, roles and responsibilities, communicating the importance of meeting information security objectives and confirming to the information security policy and the need of for continual improvement. Ensure participation in management review meetings, make decision and actions deemed necessary for ISMS, provision of all types of resources required for the operations of ISMS, ensure proper communication related to information security at all levels within the organization. And the information security policy is the most important aspect of ISMS as it defines management commitment to information security and thereby it does not only provide the direction for the system but also provides ultimate accountability. The policy should set out the overall sense of direction and the principles for actions. It should define how ISMS objectives are set considering business and legal or regulatory requirements and contractual obligations. Establishing ISMS policy is a critical step in implementing an effective ISMS as it sets the strategic and organizational context. The policy establishes the criteria against which risks will be evaluated and the structure of risk assessment. As an auditor, you should verify that the information security policy is available as documented information, is communicated, is available to relevant interested parties in person, shows commitment to comply with applicable requirements, including legal and contractual regulations, informs about the continual improvement of the organization management system, provides a framework for setting objectives, is approved by the top management. You can refer it back to the statement of applicability and the sixth level of maturity. Now, these are the points you need to taken into consideration while mentioning or establishing your maturity level in the statement of applicability. If these points which I've just mentioned are met, you can select the maturity level where the organization is ISMS policies standing. Top management shall ensure that objectives have been developed at the relevant levels within the organization. Objectives must be measurable and consistent with the described ISMS policy. As an auditor, you should ensure that objectives are established at the relevant levels and functions within the organization. Objectives are in alignment with ISMS policy. Objectives are SMART, uh, uh, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. Objectives are set while considering all the applicable requirements, especially legal ones. People who are responsible for the achievement of their respective objectives are identified. Dates of the targets for completion of specific objectives are known and communicated to the relevant people. Results of achievement of objectives are measured, and documented information about objectives should be maintained and retained. All resources All resources needed for operating ISMS should be identified. Resources include not only human resources, but supporting utilities, including infrastructure, work environment as well. 5M plus 1E technique, for example, 5M refers to man, machine, material, methods, measurement, and 1E refer to environment. So 5M plus 1E technique can be used to identify resources. As an auditor, you should ensure that the resources needed for the SMS are determined and provided. All resources must be provided to ensure that they support the information security procedures, policies, and controls. Resources need to be provided to identify and address legal and regulatory requirements and contractual security obligations, maintain adequate security by the correct applications of controls. Finally, resources must be provided to carry out reviews of the ISMS to respond appropriately to result of these reviews and to continually improve the effectiveness of the ISMS. The most important resource that is required to establish ISMS is a human resource. As an auditor, you should verify if individuals performing a work under the influence and control of the organization are competent based on experience, knowledge, training, skills, and education. Competences are determined. Appropriate training or other actions such as job, assignment, hiring, etc., are carried out to satisfy competence requirements. Evaluation of the effectiveness of actions such as training is conducted. Documented information of competences and their evaluation, education, training, and skills experience is maintained. As an auditor, you may ensure that all relevant personnel are aware of the relevance and importance of their information security activities and how they contribute to the achievement of ISMS objectives. The organization should identify and allocate appropriate communication channels, both internal and external communication necessary for ISMS communication. Internal communication is identified, defined as all the communication which is being done within the organization related to ISMS. External communication is defined as all the communication which is being done between the organization and external entities for an individual, for example, with customer stakeholders, local communities, partners, and interested parties of the management system. As an auditor, you should ensure that both internal and external communication channels have been established. Planning how to communicate with whom sender, when, time, and who recipient should be available. A mechanism should be maintained by receiving, documenting, and responding to communication. We have here incident investigation. Let me share it with you before we move forward with our next session of documented information. Just hold on, let me share it with you guys here. Uh, इस दफा हमारे पास इस सेशन के अंदर 3 वर्कशॉप्स हैं इंसिडेंट इन्वेस्टिगेशन है वर्कशॉप 4 and there are 2 more workshops. I will send to you as well the relevant material which required to fill the requirements in the workshop, which we call a workshop supporting material. Just let me give it to you as well so that you can get reference from that material and fill up all the requirements in the workshops. जी प्लीज मुझे कंफर्म कीजिए मैंने 4 फाइल्स शेयर की हैं चैट के अंदर मिल गई हैं आप लोगों को थैंक यू सोहेब
Yes, sir.
थैंक यू फॉर
Workshop
कंफर्मेशन यू 3 वर्कशॉप्स हैं और एक वर्कशॉप सपोर्टिंग मटेरियल है ISMS audit questionnaire है इसमें इंसिडेंट इन्वेस्टिगेशन है यू कैन रेफर टू द supporting workshop supporting material to get these workshops done in timely manner. आज हम लोग आपकी वर्कशॉप्स को नहीं देख सके because you were not provided with the workshop material yesterday. Um and well, it's never too late. इंशाल्लाह कल हम आपकी तमाम workshops को देख सकेंगे. So let's move forward with the documented information. इसमें हम देख सकते हैं कि आपकी जो स्टैंडर्ड है उसमें हम कहाँ पे पहुंच गए हैं, ताकि आज हमने इस स्टैंडर्ड को कवर करना है. परफॉर्मेंस वैल्यूएशन. Okay, we are almost completing support clause number 7. So we left with the clause 9 and 10 behind us. Inshallah, we'll try to cover both of them. Okay. A document is a visual anything that provides information. It may be a record, procedure, specification, drawing, or a report. The information may be presented on paper, magnetic tape, computer disk, photograph, master sample, or a combination of these. Auditors should be aware of this new term, documented information. It includes all the information, data, and records required for the establishment, implementation, monitoring, and continual improvement of the management system. It focuses on establishing, implementing, maintaining, and continual improving an information security management system (ISMS). Each of these documentation control is crucial to ensure integrity, availability, and confidentiality of information. And documented information and its control are now subdivided into three main clauses: general, creating, and updating control of document information. As an auditor, you should ensure that documentation has a proper identification mechanism. Documentation should be uniquely identifiable, typically through numbering systems, version codes, or titles. This helps avoid confusions and ensures that everyone refers to the correct document version. Maintaining consistency across organization is reviewed and approved. Documents need to be reviewed and approved by authorized personnel before they are issued. This ensures that the information is accurate, relevant, and aligned with the organization's policies and objectives. It also prevents unauthorized changes, is available when required. Access to documents should be ensured when needed, especially during critical operations or audits. This is part of ensuring availability under the CAA confidentiality, integrity, availability triad in ISO 27001. Protection mechanism are available. Protection mechanism safeguarding documents against unauthorized access, tampering, or loss. This might include access controls, encryption, or backup procedures aligning with the confidentiality integrity aspects of ISO 27001. Controls are established for distribution, access, retrieval, and usage, storage and prevention, changes, and versioning. Further explaining, it's like distribution, access, retrieval, and usage. Control distribution ensures documents reach only those who need them. Access and retrieval controls prevent unauthorized access, while usage controls ensures documents are used appropriately. Um, Proper storage, physical or digital, ensures documents remain readable, and environmental damage or ensuring digital files remain accessible with evolving technologies. Changes and versioning. Document control requires tracking changes and maintaining a clear version history. This helps trace the evolution of document and understand the context behind changes, which is vital for accountability and continuous improvement. Retention and disposition. Retention policies define how long documents should be kept, often based on legal, regulatory, or business needs. Disposition refers to securely disposing of documents when they are no longer needed, ensuring sensitive information isn't improperly disclosed. Now, this can be a part of a regulatory requirement. This can be a part of a NDA requirement, the disposition of the documentation or proper storage of the documentation. It could be because of any requirement. Isn't a proper format such as title clearly describes the document's purpose, content, number should also be mentioned there. Proper, uh, a unique identifier, often part of an organized numbering system, which helps in managing documents systematically. Issues status indicates whether a document is a draft, final, or undergoing revisioning, helping users understand the document's current state. Page number and total number of pages ensures completeness and proper sequencing, especially in printed documents, preventing errors or omissions. Approval authority identifies who has approved the document, adding a layer of accountability and traceability. Issuing authority shows who is responsible for releasing or maintaining the document, helping direct questions or updates appropriately. Issue dates provides timeline for when the document was released or last updated, essential for understanding the document's relevance and currency. An ISMS document and record should be identifiable, up to date, uh, legible, clear in meaning, adequate, complete, self-consistent with the purpose and scope of the system or process, consistent with other documents available, retrievable. As an auditor, one of the your primary responsibility is to ensure that the organization has documented information required by the SMS. These documents help demonstrate compliance with ISO 27001 requirements and provide evidence that the SMS is functioning effectively. Below is you can find the breakdown of the key documents and their relevance. ISMS scope, ISMS policy, risk assessment process, risk treatment process, ISMS objectives, operational planning and controls, a result of information security assessment, monitoring and measurement results, audit, program and audit results, results of measurement reviews, nature action, and results of corrective actions. Document information stated in Annex A. Additional notes for auditors to take into consideration. Documentation should meet ISO 27001 requirements for accuracy, accessibility, and traceability. All records should be up to date, approved, and consistent with the SMS policy and objectives. As an auditor, confirm that documented evidence is systematically reviewed, securely stored, and retrievable when needed. Also, documentation should be structured to fit the size of the organization and type of activities. The scope, complexity of the security arrangements, and the system being managed, the nature and the extent of documentation should depend upon and meet the needs of the organization. Well, guys, I think we have discussed enough in today's session, though we still have more slides to discuss, but we can continue this in our next session because I believe that it's already overloaded. A lot of information has been passed on in today's session. I don't want to exaggerate further. So we close down today's session here. And before I close down, I would like anyone have any questions to please open your mics and you can ask so that I can, before concluding the session, we can say discuss few things if you want to clarify further, or we can take a leave. कोई है मतलब कोई सवाल आप पूछना चाह रहे हैं, कोई डिस्कस करना चाह रहे हैं तो आई एम ऑल ears. Okay, guys, it seems that um, मैं इस खामोशी से उम्मीद करता हूँ कि आप लोगों ने जो मैंने आज के सेशन में डिस्कस किया है स्टैंडर्ड को एक्सप्लेन करने की कोशिश की है। आप लोगों ने उसको समझने की कोशिश की होगी और कुछ अंडरस्टैंड भी किया होगा स्टेटमेंट ऑफ एप्लीकेबिलिटी को। बाकी चीज़ों को हम इंशाल्लाह डिस्कस करेंगे मजीद। आर ए एस सी आई टेबल को डिस्कस किया है आज हमने। Thank you very much, Vikas, for your comments. Okay, okay, Fatima, I will request my colleague Jahanta to share with you the previous workshops in the group. आपसे ये तमाम documents group में भी share कर देते हैं. I don't know why this misunderstanding happens, but uh, we will try to cope up with the situation, inshallah. So nothing to worry about. Jahantab sir, please make sure कि आप ग्रुप में शेयर कर दीजिए और जो लोग ग्रुप में ऐड नहीं हैं प्लीज अपना नंबर यहाँ पे लिख दीजिए ताकि उनको ऐड किया जा सके ग्रुप में। ठीक है। अ,
जी
जी
बिल्कुल।
जनाब साहब ये वकास हैं इन्होंने अपना नंबर शेयर किया है। आप इनको भी ग्रुप में ऐड करें ताकि ही शुड रिमेन इन्फॉर्म्ड विद ऑल ongoing regarding RASCI and maturity levels. Uh, क्या विकास I didn't get your question fully. What exactly you are trying to ask? आप अगर मतलब बात नहीं कर सकते हैं अभी तो आप टाइप कर दीजिए मैसेज या आप ग्रुप में टाइप कर दीजिएगा आई विल एक्सप्लेन इट टू यू if you are not in a position where you can discuss this. Oh, just hold on. I don't know. Just hold on, please. Just hold on. जी देखिए अभी आप बात कर सकते हैं।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर।
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह।
खैरियत से हैं?
वालेकुम सलाम अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह। आप सुनाइए खैरियत से हैं ठीक ठाक हैं।
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, अल्लाह का शुक्र सर। सर बस ये बताना था कि सर आर ए एस सी आई, वैसे हम आर ए सी आई यूज़ कर रहे होते हैं, मेच्योरिटी लेवल्स थोड़ा डिफरेंटली यूज़ कर रहे थे, तो गॉट टू लर्न समथिंग न्यू टुडे। सो
जी
दैट वाज गुड फॉर मी।
जी
मेरी जो मकसद था मेरा वो पूरा हो रहा है आपके सेशन के साथ कि आई एम लर्निंग न्यू थिंग्स, जो कि मैं जहाँ जहाँ इंटरेक्ट कर रहा होता हूँ वो आपसे मैं लाइक सीख रहा हूँ नई चीज़ें, ताकि वहाँ इम्प्लीमेंटेशन करके जो कंट्रीब्यूशन की एक अप्रोच कैरी कर रहा हूँ वो कंट्रीब्यूशन की अप्रोच फुलफिल करने की एनहांसमेंट मिल रही है आपसे मुझे।
it's wonderful to learn that you are learning something new, since you said yesterday that you are conducting audits for the last 10 years, if I'm
Yes.
not wrong.
Sir,
So,
I'm with
mashallah.
QMS for the last good about 15 years, and I'm साथ occupational है OHSMS से भी interact कर रहा होता हूँ। I've even worked on food safety, environmental और कैसे काफी कुछ करता रहा हूँ। तो for the last good about
Okay.
6 years, I'm purely on ISMS and enjoying it thoroughly. It's such a wonderful thing to do.
Indeed, it is. Indeed, it is. And it's wonderful for me to learn that you are being in a profession for such a long time and you're still learning new things. It's
So,
a wonderful experience for myself as well, that I'm
uh,
able to give you something, that you are looking for. That is why you are attending these sessions. That's wonderful, Vikas. It really does. And inshallah, it is a learning process for everyone. For
yeah.
me as well, you when you are interacting with each other, you are learning from each other as well. If you let your learning windows open at all times, you're learning something new. हमारे
सर
यहाँ
एक
वो भी होता है ना कि मैं मुझे सब कुछ आता है भाई मैंने कुछ नहीं सीखना।
सर यू माइट नो मिस्टर तुराब अली खान और डॉक्टर कामरान मूसा, जो पाकिस्तान में क्वालिटी के लीड्स रहे हैं। वो जो है उन लोगों की एक स्टेटमेंट है, वो कहते हैं स्टेगनेंसी इज डेथ फॉर एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन।
Indeed, indeed, it's
तो
very rightly said.
बिल्कुल, तो उससे आगे निकलने का है सर। एनीवे
जी
सर,
जी
थैंक यू वेरी
बिल्कुल।
मच, वंडरफul।
Likewise, Vikas, thank you very much for getting live every day. और डिस्कशन में मजा आता है जरा बात होती है तो पता लगता है कि सेशन किस तरफ जा रहा है। You are aware, I am aware, since we are both into it for a long time. Students, they might get bored with time, but I'm trying to put them in a situation where they start thinking in that manner. That this is exactly how these standards need to be learned, and then later on these theory will be used in a practical manner to implement these standards. तो ये
correct.
मतलब समझना जरूरी है, आपको कॉन्टेक्स्ट एस्टेब्लिश करना जरूरी होता है। अब
बिल्कुल।
स्टैंडर्ड को जैसे डिस्कस कर रहे हैं हम कल से लेकर अब तक, ये मतलब कंप्लीट इसकी क्लॉजेस जो सी हैं स्टैंडर्ड की, मतलब दे आर वे, मजा आता है इनको डिस्कस करके पढ़ के, क्योंकि स्टैंडर्ड जैसे मैंने कल बताया था कि ये हमारी डेली की प्रैक्टिसेस ही है ना जो हम कर रहे होते हैं। ये कुछ
बिल्कुल।
ऐसा तो है नहीं इसके अंदर जो मतलब हमने किया नहीं है या हम कर ना रहे हो, बल्कि ये जो हमारी बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस है उनको डॉक्यूमेंट किया होता है इन्होंने।
तो राइट।
और और इन्हीं को आपने प्रोसेस में लेकर आना है, रिकॉर्ड करना है, इनको आपने मॉनिटर करना है और फिर इम्प्रूवमेंट लेकर आनी है ना, रिपीट रिपीट करने के लिए प्रोसेस स्टैब्लिश करना है।
सर
तो
ऐसे
दैट इज स्टैंडर्ड इज ऑल अबाउट।
जब पहली दफा ये स्टैंडर्ड पढ़ा था, क्यूएमएस का पढ़ा था, आज से 2012 की बात है सर। और
9001 है।
मैं समझ रहा था कि यानी ये क्या पढ़ा रहे हैं स्टार्टेड ऑफ लाइक दैट,
एग्जैक्टली,
ये कहना क्या चाह रहे हैं।
एग्जैक्टली।
बट
हाँ
नाउ इट्स
absolutely.
टोटली डिफरेंट। अब वो
हाँ बिल्कुल।
सेल के थ्रू जो उन्होंने इंटीग्रेशन की, सारा कुछ उसमें वर्किंग की पूरी, इट्स इट्स लाइक लाइफ चेंजिंग एक्सपीरियंस फॉर, यानी एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को सर ये कह सकता हूँ, जो हम लोग अभी अंडरस्टैंड नहीं करते, कि एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में लोग जहाँ टोटली ये चीज़ें अंडरस्टैंड नहीं कर रहे होते, और दे आर सेइंग कि दिस इज जस्ट ब्ला 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 और जस्ट अ वेस्ट ऑफ टाइम, एक्सेसिव डॉक्यूमेंटेशन एंड एवरीथिंग, जो कल्चर के अंदर फिर उसके बाद उसमें इन्फिल्ट्रेट करना कल्चर में इन अ पॉजिटिव मैनर, और लोगों के साथ एंगेज करते हुए फिर बाद में उन्हीं लोगों की वो स्टेटमेंट्स आना चंद सालों बाद के, यार बहुत अच्छा किया हमने ये स्टैंडर्ड इम्प्लीमेंट कर लिया, वो चीज़ देखी
वेरी
है।
राइटली सेड। बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं आप।
वो चीज़ बहुत मोटिवेशन देती है ये सारे स्टैंडर्ड्स को आगे प्रोसीड करने में सर।
जी जी बिल्कुल, ये देखें, ये बड़ी जबरदस्ती, अभी ये आप लोग ये मतलब स्टूडेंट्स जो उनसे ये साइबर सिक्योरिटी बीएस कर रहे हैं, जब ये बीएस कर लेंगे, इंक्लूडिंग माय सन, ही इज आल्सो डूइंग बीएस ना,
अच्छा माशाल्लाह।
क्रिमिनोलॉजी पढ़ रहे हैं, तो अ, वो भी मुझे कल मुझसे डिस्कस कर रहे थे, कहते कि बाबा आप वो इंग्लिश में बहुत ज्यादा हो जाता है, तो आप बीच में थोड़ा सा ना उर्दू का तड़का जरूर लगाएं। मैं बोर हो रहा था तो बाकी भी हो रहे होंगे। मैंने कहा यार ये आपका एज ग्रुप है, मैं मतलब इसमें कोशिश करूंगा कि I'll try to add something in it for your understanding कि आप कैसे कनेक्ट रह सकें, आप मतलब कंटिन्यू आपका इंटरेस्ट मेंटेन रख सको, बट obviously it will take a bit of time for them to understand. Or he mentioned you as well, that you were like kept interested in understanding what you are saying. तो मैंने कहा he's an experienced person, he knows what I'm saying, that's why he's listening, he's interacting, he's talking. अभी मैंने लास्ट वीक सेशन कंक्लूड किया एनईडी यूनिवर्सिटी का।
जी
इट
बिल्कुल।
वाज 5 days कंटिन्यूस सेशन ना, उसमें गैप्स नहीं थे। और मतलब बहुत मजा आया, आप यकीन करिए, उनके स्टूडेंट्स के साथ वो उनकी भी स्ट्रेंथ ऑलमोस्ट सेम ही थी जितनी यहाँ पे है, अभी 65+ है। और देवर लाइक मतलब क्यूरोसिटी बहुत ज्यादा थी उन स्टूडेंट्स में, देवर अप फॉर लर्निंग। और मैं बड़ा मतलब आई एम क्वाइट इम्प्रेस्ड विद देम कि मतलब उनके जो ये भी इंटरेक्टिव सेशन है हमारा, कि हम इंटरेक्ट कर रहे हैं, डिस्कस डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, वो तो कैमरे खोलते थे फटाफट वेट कर रहे होते थे कि यार हम ये भी पूछें, ये भी पूछें, ये भी पूछें। तो बहुत मजा आया एनईडी के स्टूडेंट्स के साथ बात करके। और आई एम नॉट सेइंग दैट फ्रॉम ए यूनिवर्सिटी स्टूडेंट्स आर नॉट दैट, मतलब उनको सीखना नहीं है या ऐसा नहीं है, मतलब हर बंदे का अपना एक इंटेलिजेंस का लेवल होता है, अपने सीखने का मोमेंटम होता है। तो वी शुड नॉट बी पुशिंग एनीवन। तो आई बिलीव कि ये अभी जो हमारी क्लास है, ये सिर्फ अपने मार्क्स के लिए नहीं बैठी हुई है कि जी ये मतलब इंस्टीट्यूट ने मैंडेटरी कर दिया है ये सेशन अटेंड करना, तो हम सिर्फ अटेंडेंस लगवा के बैठते हैं, बट दे आर लर्निंग समथिंग एटलीस्ट। कुछ तो सीखेंगे इस सेशन से इंशाल्लाह। तो दैट इज व्हाट आई एम फोकसिंग ऑन ना। तो
सुपर।
इंटरेक्शन हो तो ज्यादा मजा आता है। अच्छा, जब हमारा आपने सिंस यू आर योरसेल्फ लीड ऑडिटर, आपने ये एक्सपीरियंस किया होगा कि हम लोग जब मतलब इवन माई सेल्फ, जब मैं लीड ऑडिटर बना था, तो हम लोगों को अटेंडेंस जो है वो कैमरे से होती थी। अटेंडेंस
हाँ।
कैमरे के बगैर नहीं होती ना, तो वो हम फिर एग्जाम में पार्टिसिपेट ही नहीं कर पाते। तो ये चीज
ओके।
मैंने कल डिस्कस की इन द बिगिनिंग कि अगर आपको आगे लीड ऑडिटर बनना है, अब आपको पता है कि दिस कोर्स इज डैम एक्सपेंसिव इन पाकिस्तान, जो हम ये कंडक्ट कर रहे हैं, इट्स ऑलमोस्ट
Correct.
250,000 रुपीज पर हेड ना।
Right.
तो अगर एक बंदे ने ये सेशन लेने हैं 5 दिन के, तो इट 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 कॉस्ट यू हैवीली हैफ्टीली। तो अगर
Correct.
ये आपको मतलब एक असिस्टेंस मिल रही है एमसीएस की तरफ से, प्लेटफॉर्म से, तो यू शुड गेट बेनिफिटेड आउट ऑफ इट। Or this course is very detailed, and believe me, at the end of the day you will be able to participate in the exam, but for that you need to fulfill all the requirements। आपको कैमरा ऑन करना पड़ेगा, आपको अटेंडेंस देनी पड़ेगी, क्योंकि कल को अगर हम आईआर सीक्यूआई को भेजते हैं कि जी ये इस बंदे ने हमारे साथ अटेंडेंस ली हुई है, कोर्स लिया हुआ है, तो दे आस्क फॉर अस कि जी आप सेशन जो रिकॉर्डिंग है वो शेयर करें।
Correct.
Otherwise you will not be able to participate in the exam। It's as simple as that now। So this is important for all of you to understand, because you are already a lead auditor, you understand these
Right.
things, right? So
सर,
anyways, जी जी
हमने सर इन हाउस हमारे तो कोर्सेज हुए थे जो अटेंड किए, बट
जी जी।
डेफिनेटली ये चीज़ मैं टीम से भी कम्युनिकेट करूंगा सबसे, और ऑफ कोर्स ये स्टूडेंट्स भी से साथ में कोलीग्स इनसे भी, कि आहिस्ता आहिस्ता हम लोग ज़्यादा इंटरेक्टिव हो जाएं। अब अपेरेंटली नहीं है इंटरेक्टिव, लेकिन इंटरनली डिस्कशंस इस पे साथ साथ चल रही होती हैं हमारी।
बेहतरीन है सर, बेहतरीन है। आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड कि वो मतलब स्टूडेंट्स को जरा ये भी होता है कि यार कोई सवाल ना पूछ लें, सारी क्लास बैठी हुई है तो ऐसे वो जवाब नहीं दे पाएंगे, तो बच्चों को होता है। आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड दैट। सो इट इज नॉट अ यार कुछ हार्ड एंड फास्ट क्वेश्चन आंसर सेशन। आई एम जस्ट हियर टू गाइड यू। अगर आपको कुछ सेशन में समझ नहीं आ रही है, जो कि आई कैन फील कि इट्स न्यू, सम दिस इज न्यू फॉर यू गाइस। दो के कुछ कॉन्सेप्ट्स इन्होंने पढ़े होंगे अपने लेक्चर्स के अंदर, अपने टीचर्स के साथ क्लासेस के दौरान, लेकिन बहुत सारी चीजें नहीं हैं। तो आप यू कैन राइट नोट्स डाउन। आपको कोई चीज नहीं समझ आ रही है, मैं जरा थोड़ा सा फ्लुएंटली बात कर रहा होता हूँ सेशंस के दौरान, तेज चल रहा होता हूँ, क्योंकि मेरे पास एक बहुत बड़ा कोर्स है जिसे मैंने 4 दिन में कवर करना है। ये 40 घंटे का कोर्स है, जो हमने 4 दिन के अंदर 3 3 घंटे की क्लासेस में कवर कर रहे हैं।
सर, इसमें एक चीज ऐड करना चाहूंगा।
जी जी
अगर आपसे रिक्वेस्ट भी है कि आप, अगर हम लोग आपसे वो उस तरह कह लें रिस्पॉन्स नहीं दे रहे, आपसे रिक्वेस्ट हुई कि आप हमसे रिस्पॉन्स निकलवाएं, हमारे सामने
जी जी।
एक्सरसाइजेस रख दें, आस्क अस टू फोर्स सॉर्ट ऑफ लाइक इनफोर्स लर्निंग पे आ जाएं। हमें कहते हैं कि ये बताओ कि व्हाट डज दिस मीन एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट। सिनेरियो थ्रेट है तो हाउ इज इट दिस अ थ्रेट, एंड हाउ इज दिस अ वल्नरेबिलिटी, एंड हाउ इज दिस अ कंट्रोल, रिस्क स्टेटमेंट में क्या लिखोगे, एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट, ये स्कोरिंग किस तरह हो रही है, एलाबोरेट करवाएं हमसे, थोड़ा सा हमसे भी डिलीवर कराएं, तो मे बी दैट माइट engage us apparently further.
Because believe me, I would love to go into that exercise, and that is exactly how we do it on regular basis।
Good.
हमारे जो 40 घंटे के सेशन होते हैं उसके अंदर सिर्फ डिस्कशन नहीं होती,
So
उसके
right,
अंदर उसके अंदर हम ना ग्रुप्स बना के एक्सरसाइजेस लाइव कंडक्ट कर रहे होते हैं, जो मैं आपको दे रहा हूँ कि आप करके मुझे कल सबमिट करें।
बिल्कुल।
बिकॉज ऑफ द लैक ऑफ द टाइम वी हैव
Alright.
ऑन आवर डिस्पोजल अभी,
हम्म,
मतलब 3 घंटे में यू कैनॉट सिंपली यू कैनॉट डू इट। तो
uh,
हम लोगों का इतना मजे के सेशंस होते हैं जब हम ये कर रहे होते हैं ना, मतलब जो जो पेड मतलब एक 8 घंटे का सेशन है,
जी,
5 6 का ग्रुप है, उसके अंदर फिर हम एक्सरसाइजेस कंडक्ट करवा रहे होते हैं लाइव।
सर,
ये जो जितनी भी एक्सरसाइजेस मैं आपसे शेयर करूंगा, तकरीबन को
जी,
15 से 20 के करीब है।
हाँ,
ये जो मैंने अभी वर्कशॉप मटेरियल आपको दिया, इट्स अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग डॉक्यूमेंट।
जी,
आपने अभी सेशन के दौरान ऑब्वियसली इसको स्टडी नहीं किया, जब आप स्टडी करेंगे ना, उसके अंदर
जी,
सिनेरियोज डिफाइन किए हुए हैं जिसमें से आपने इंफॉर्मेशन पिक करके वर्कशॉप फिल करनी है। तो ये हम लाइव कर रहे होते हैं डिफरेंट,
हाँ,
मतलब 5 का बैच है, 5 स्टूडेंट से हम, आपका क्या ओपिनियन है, आपका क्या ओपिनियन है, आपका क्या ओपिनियन है। तो जब इस तरह की इंटरेक्शन होती है ना, तो वो लेवल और हो जाता है अंडरस्टैंडिंग का, डिस्कशन का। तो
सर, मैं
अभी
अभी डॉक्यूमेंट
जी
ओपन किया है, एंड इट्स अ कंप्लीट ट्रेनिंग मैनुअल सर, दिस इज वंडरफुल।
जी जी
ये
एग्जैक्टली।
बहुत अच्छा है। और कुछ चीज़ें मैं आपसे ऑफ कोर्स ऑनलाइन नहीं कहूँगा, बट आपसे पर्सनली, आपके पर्सनल कांटेक्ट पे ज़रूर आपसे कुछ चीज़ें डिस्कस करूंगा, जो कि
जी
इन्हीं
जी
मटेरियल की यूटिलाइजेशन आगे बहुत अच्छे तरीके से की जाएगी सर।
जी जी, जरूर जरूर सर, आई वुड लव टू हियर योर आइडियाज इंशाल्लाह। आई विल लुक फॉरवर्ड टू
और
हैव फर्दर डिस्कशन इंशाल्लाह, नो प्रॉब्लम एट ऑल।
सर,
और
सर,
और
थैंक दैट्स
सर,
इट फॉर मी सर। थैंक यू।
यू मोस्ट वेलकम। जी सोहेब, यू वांट टू डिस्कस समथिंग?
जी सर। सर मेरी एक काइंड रिक्वेस्ट थी और मैंने आपको ईमेल भी की थी, वो जो वर्कशॉप 3 थी उसका सपोर्टिंग मटेरियल आपने शेयर कर दें।
जी, ये जो
प्रीवियसली वो हमारी कंपनी की।
मैंने आपको जो भेजा है ना मटेरियल, मैंने वैसे जब वीडियो प्ले की थी उसके साथ मैंने सपोर्टिंग मटेरियल भी शेयर किया था चैट बॉक्स के अंदर। आपने मेरे ख्याल लेट ज्वाइन किया, और मैंने अभी जो लेटर ऑन भी सपोर्टिंग मटेरियल भेजा है उसके अंदर भी वर्कशॉप 3 से रिलेटेड जो है वो एक्सरसाइज है। आप वहां से असिस्टेंस लीजिए और फिल कीजिए वर्कशॉप 3 को। ठीक
ओके
है,
सर, थैंक यू।
you're most welcome. And anyone else want to discuss something, or what we take a leave? We have a gap of one whole week in between. आपकी क्लासेस होंगी तो नेक्स्ट सेशन हमारा, जैसे भी जहाँ ताब ने ग्रुप में मैसेज किया है, इज गोइंग टू बी ऑन 22nd। और हम लोग इंटरेक्ट कर सकते हैं। जो हमारा व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप है उसको जिसने ज्वाइन करना है, यहाँ पे नंबर लिखते हैं जहाँ ताब साहब ने अपना नंबर मेंशन किया है, आप उनको मैसेज कर सकते हैं ग्रुप में ऐड होने के लिए। कोई क्वेश्चन है, कोई क्यूरी है, स्टैंडर्ड को पढ़िए, कोशिश कीजिए, गेट प्रिपेयर योरसेल्फ फुली ड्यूरिंग दिस होल वीक, और कम अप विद ह्यूज अमाउंट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस ऑन द 22nd इंशाल्लाह। हम रिकैप लेंगे 22nd पे, उसके बाद हम फिर कंटिन्यू करेंगे जहाँ पे हमने आज ड्रॉप किया है सेशन को। सो थैंक यू वेरी मच गाइस टू बी प्रेजेंट इन दिस सेशन। अल्लाह हाफिज एंड गुड नाइट।
अल्लाह हाफिज।
अल्लाह हाफिज।